we're back. Game number 2 of Na'Vi taking on Fnatic. The leadoff best of 3 of the day. We've got 2 on the docket. Fnatic leads this series 1-0. It'll be EG taking on X Rock's Kiss coming up following this. But right now, it's all about Na'Vi trying to stabilize and get things back on track as they got rocked in a 26-minute game. In Game 1, Fnatic utterly dominant, and Excalibur continues to impress. This time, he's going to land his Tinker. Take a look at what Na'Vi bans. Getting rid of the IO. I think they've had about enough of that.
Yeah, IO's gone, but they didn't ban the Tinker. So the Tinker was first picked here as they chose first pick for Fnatic. Can you imagine, mind blown, if they picked Tinker and Meepo?
Oh, man.
If No Tail took that Meepo and they had both of those, that would just be fun to watch. But yeah, so Enigma here, Enigma and Lycan here for Na'Vi. Tinker and an early Beastmaster pickup.
You know, you and I were talking about that. We talked about that for like 30 minutes last night. We had a drink in the hotel bar, and we're just talking about heroes we thought, you know, would see more play. Tusk came up at one point.
Oh, I'm a Tusk fanboy.
I am a Beastmaster fanboy, man. I love this hero, especially in conjunction with the Tinker. Being able to bots on top of the Hawk just gives you...
That's exactly what we talked about,
yeah. Talked about that. I just like Beastmaster in general, but especially against the 2 heroes that Na'Vi has drafted. Enigma, going to be susceptible to Beastmaster's Roar to take him out of Black Hole, regardless of if he's magic immune or not. And Lycan's kind of in the same boat. Lycan, a rush you down, tunnel vision kind of a hero. He pops his BKB, tries to get on a target, and Beastmaster's there, especially if he goes something like a mobility item, like a Blink. I actually really like Blink Ags Beastmaster a lot for that reason. He's going to be caught out as well. I actually feel like that's just a wonderful pick out of Fnatic.
Yeah, like I like Beastmaster in situations, like you mentioned. With Tinker, it's amazing. Like that's one of the things we talked about specifically was Tinker being able to go to the Hawk and whatnot. I'm not the biggest fan of Beastmaster off lane. I like him mid, but it makes me wonder where they're going to put Tinker. Now, Excalibur is their one-position player. I have seen them run Tinker as the safe lane carry in a tri-lane. So maybe we'll see now with Doom picked up, perhaps off-lane Doom, Beastmaster mid, Tinker tri-lane bottom. There's a lot of options. You can also go Tinker mid, Beastmaster offlane with a tri-lane Doom. Not the biggest fan, again, like I said, of Beastmaster offlane, but if you can somehow find the levels on Beastmaster, you can do Ancients. It's not exactly the most efficient thing because it's very easy to spot if you're not in lane. Where are you? Got to be Ancients.
Exactly.
So we'll just have to wait and see how Fnatic thinks it's going to be the most appropriate. The Axe is banned out again. It's so funny because I said last game, we saw it in the last series yesterday. It was just banned out frequently, and I don't know. I have to talk to some teams and see what it is specifically, if it's against like specific heroes they don't like Axe against, or if just in general they think Axe is very strong in this meta. I think a little bit maybe of both. But.
Yeah, well, I think just based on what we've seen and past conversations I've had, Axe just works at doing a lot of things. He can actually be a very, very deadly initiator. He's very, very good at, well, I mean, it's easy to just kind of, you get caught up in the moment. It's like, oh, he's dunking on kids, you know, and the Culling Blade is just so strong in general. When you look at the threshold in terms of how quickly you could just finish someone off and how hard he snowballs, most especially. If he gets up a very quick blink and then a blade mail, that kind of a thing. He can work in the off lane. He's a great roamer. I remember seeing Alliance run him going back. It's been a while, but it was one of the best ways I've ever seen him run. They started him off in the jungle, and then they just would rotate him into mid, and they would use Battle Hunger to harass out the mid. Like, he would just go in the mid. It was on the Radiant side. Show up, Battle Hunger, run through mid, go up into the Dire side jungle 1 or 2 camps by himself, and then come back down and just continually Battle Hunger the mid. And it just makes it impossible to stand up and have any chance at actual lane presence. But Fnatic, you know what? They like to silence their pick, and so do I. This is going to be crippling for Na'Vi.
You know, I think it's funny is most teams, I feel, they get into a draft and they're thinking, okay, can we pick, you know, they have a pool of heroes for this kind of role in this lane, and they're thinking, all right, well, we can put Rubik in this lane, or we can put Puck mid, blah, 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 and then they figure out heroes after what's going to work well in the lane. Right. I think it's the opposite for Fnatic. They're just like, let's pick heroes, we'll figure out our lanes once we get there. Because it's like, they're just picking really strong heroes with good abilities, like good ultimates, and Beastmaster's ult, Doom, best ultimate in the game, Silencer, Global Silence, like, this is so strong. These heroes have extremely strong abilities that don't really require a lot of farm, except for Tinker. He does require farm, but he usually gets it. So
Yeah, I actually feel like this is just an excellent draft from Fnatic. Doom, I mean, they just have so many answers for everything. Lycan gets boned by Beastmaster in particular. Puck and Enigma, extremely susceptible to the global silence. Doom can basically just walk up to a Puck and go, oh yeah, you're Puck, you want to escape, you want to be slippery? Yeah, you're not. Go ahead and walk away now. Just by casting the ultimate. Na'Vi does get a little bit more aggressive potential coming out with the Nyx Assassin now. But it will be Kuro on the Rubik, and Kuro's Rubik is the thing of legend, and that's always worth keeping in mind. But, I mean, it's kind of like, I like on paper the way, wow, Fnatic actually last picks a Treant Protector as well. And that's, you know, something worth mentioning is Na'Vi does have a fair amount of push just between Lycan and Enigma alone. The Eidolons and, of course, Howl and Lycan's Wolves and such are going to be able to just bring down towers quickly. But then you have to deal with Tinker, who's going to have March of the Machines to ward you off of those towers if he's in position. I can identify things that are good about Na'Vi's lineup, but pretty much everything I could point out is something that is accounted for by Fnatic's draft. The only question is how can they maximize their lanes? What are they going to be able to run this efficiently? Will be Excalibur on the Tinker, will be Trixie on the Silencer. Fly will be handling the tree with No-Tail actually playing on the Beastmaster this time, and Hani in a very sick Doom set.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, it looks badass.
I have never seen that set before. That is just freaking awesome. If you get out of the trees for me. Come on, get out of the trees. I want to see. I'm trying to use cinematic cam. But anyway, yeah, how do you think the lane's going to end up shaping up here?
For both teams? Well, it looks like Hana's going to be in the off lane with the boots. I thought he was going to be mid, but then I was like, wait, Trixie playing off lane Silencer, that doesn't look like it would work at all. But then again, last game we saw off lane TA, so what the hell do I know? But
yeah.
They thought maybe Roche was going on if they checked that because that would be devastating. Not going on. Top lane for Na'Vi, it's going to be this dual lane with Enigma in the jungle. Na'Vi's is a much more standard game and as far as the lanes and things like that are concerned. And I think if they push early, that's when I think Fnatic could have a lot of trouble because, like I said, their heroes are very, very strong with strong abilities outside of the laning phase. But in the laning phase, they don't really do that much.
Right.
So they definitely have the pushing power. Like Lycan Howl plus the Eidolons are ridiculous. They push so freaking fast. But then again, last game we saw Lycan Howl with Enchantress creeps, which is actually very strong too, but they didn't really seem to make it work all that much. So hopefully this game, for their sake, they're able to do a little bit more with that interaction.
No-Tail taking a bit of damage there. The DD was picked up by Lycan, so Vost and Kuro will make their way back up in the top lane. It will be Puppey, who did deny a creep to begin, now making his way into the jungle for Na'Vi. Dendi, of course, in mid on the Puck, and Fnatic playing on our Nyx Assassin in mid. Looks like it's going to be a duo lane right now. Wow, that's going to be No-Tail hanging on the Beastmaster with Excalibur here in mid. That is an interesting choice. We see No-Tail do this a lot, especially on the IO, but you know, we were talking, you know, Beastmaster kind of needs a little farm priority, at least in the beginning, and he's not going to be getting it in this situation.
I have actually no idea why he's here. Like, none at all. He at least better go stack the Ancients. Yeah, okay, he's doing that, so maybe that's why. And honestly, you know, it sounds kind of weird, but honestly, it's kind of worth it. If you can get the Ancients stacked, even if you're having a bad time, which you shouldn't, Tinker versus Puck. I mean, Tinker should be okay.
Right.
But he needs levels, so just kind of sitting here stacking levels from Tinker, I don't know, it seems weird. I don't know why he's here. Just seems very wonky to me. But anyway, he's here, and he's here to stay for the time being. And Dendi also with the extra damage from Howl, which is coming out. He's sitting for 80, literally. And look at Excalibur. He actually takes a lot of damage from just some right clicks from Dendi. So, yeah, I don't know. This is so weird that he's still staying there. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish by maybe denying Dendi, but Dendi's 3-3 early on here. So, seems, yeah, I could go on and on all day about how weird it is, but it's happening.
I think this is a game where he looks to get up a Soul Ring. Like, that actually makes a bit of sense to me. And it's going to be a ways in coming, don't get me wrong. But if he gets up a Soul Ring, he can just hang out here. He can do the Ancients. You can actually stack Ancients with Axes just to speed up the whole process once you get a Soul Ring up. And you'll be able to spam Axes like we just saw, just trying to zone Dendi off of CS as best as he can. One thing he should be able to help out with, but Fnatic is going to be able to handle this too, is pre-runing. That's going to be a regen that's actually spotted by Fnatic. And he's going to go ahead and shoot the Impale Fly. Coming forward and swinging that big old fist. He's got to be a little careful. He's a little too low to be trading blows like that. But
yeah,
for now, I would imagine the lanes would be kind of quiet so long as everyone plays safely.
Yeah, and actually with the big nerf to the level 1 Leech Seed, he can't really go for kills that early on without a lot of help. But yeah, Fnatic, what's he doing as far as the levels? He's not really getting too much, so Fly at least being successful in that sense. Who's the offlane here? It's Hani on Doom. He's level 3. And he's got actually level 2 Scorched Earth and not the Devour. kind of interesting here. Maybe he needed it at the time to get extra. Oh, action bottom.
Yep, has to TP away. You know, this is actually really quite smart. Picking up, hang on. Dindy actually gets first blood in mid in the meantime and got there just in time to see him drop. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what you were talking about. Now he's going to chase out Dindy. He has Scorched Earth, 2 points into it, as you said. And Hani, is he going to? Nope. I was going to say, he actually, it's kind of
It would have been close. I think if he had a Stout Shield, he maybe could. Whoa, he's going to be careful.
Wow.
He does hit. Oh, he's got the crit creep. That's why. He's hitting so freaking hard. I was like, why does he hit so hard? It's because he got the early crit creep. So, but yeah, that's what I was talking about. Dendy, he's got to be careful. What is he doing? He's got to be so careful. If he
there you go. That's bizarre. Bizarre is the word.
There's no reason that should have happened. And he had his bottle that just got delivered on the courier, too. If he just played a little less greedy, trying to get all those creeps at the same time as getting his bottle right in the face of two heroes with less, sub 200 HP.
Yeah. Weird is the word I would use. It was actually kind of weird the way that Hani played that, too, because it seemed like he knew he wasn't going to die, but he still walked just far enough forward to take 2-3 tower shots in the face and have to pull back, even though he did have the crit creep still. Anyway, we're going to have Hani engage upon behind his own tier 1. He could be in trouble. No tails there, but all he could do is throw the axes and watch his buddy drop. Here's that push we were talking about. Howl damage, a big deal on these Eidolons. And pushing at this level, Puppey is level 5. 2 points into demonic conversion. Make it 3 now. As they don't even need another summon. Tier 1 down.
They can go for more. They can go for more. Like, who's going to stop them?
Yep, agreed.
Beastmaster has no mana whatsoever right now. He can't axe. Hani's dead. He can walk back up here, maybe get the creeps off the tower, but you're not going to get the minions off.
Yep.
And Howl is going to be up in another, I guess, 20 seconds. But yeah, this is even if they don't get this, this is going to be considerable damage on a tier 2 sub 5 minutes. So yeah, things not looking good. This is what I talked about. Like, they just need to press the issue with this awesome pushing power that they have, and they're doing that. I mean, even Puppey's almost level 6. He's actually higher level than the Lycan now. So they're doing good things up here in the top lane.
TP coming in. That will be No Tail. Trying to zone them off, but they've got to be careful. They just really don't have the punching power to deal with this. This is going to be 2 tier 1 and 2 towers brought down. And Enigma taking the last hit. They might get No Tail as well. Let's see if they want to engage. Hani was there, has Scorched Earth popped. If they can get Havost, it won't be this nice will actually be a nice kill.
Oh, nice body block
good
by Puppey.
Body block. And now Hani is going to end up dropping. They don't have half a health bar between them. Puppey, Havost, and Kuro, if you add all of their health together, it does not equal half of a health bar. They all managed to survive. That's going to be 3-1, and Fnatic doing something we've seen them do before, and you kind of alluded to this during the draft. They pick heroes based on what the heroes themselves do, and sometimes their lanes end up feeling a little flimsy, and that's exactly the word I would use. And yeah, flimsy applies. Na'Vi abusing that fact. 2 towers down and 3-1.
I mean, Puppey's so freaking good, man.
Yep.
He is. That was all because of that tiny little body block, and it's such a small, like, as far as physically, like, clicking to block in the moment, it seems like it's a small deal, but it was massive. Because that could have been maybe 2 kills for Fnatic, and Na'Vi gets none. But instead, they save all their heroes and get a counter kill on top of the 2 towers that they already had, sub 6 minutes. So fantastic play by Puppey. He's insane.
Lads is done now on Havost. He's back on Lycan. We saw him struggle mightily in Game 1, but making good progress this time. Hani, quite broke. He's just level 5. Has a set of Tranks up, a TP, and a set of Tank. There's not a whole lot more going for him. No Tail is level 4 as well. This duo mid approach has really slowed him and Tinker down, as a matter of fact. Dindy, level 7 right now, 7.5. He's a full level ahead of Excalibur, even though both have died once. And Excalibur moving now into the jungle. He'll be able to do this to play catch up a bit, but Boots of Travel quite a ways away.
Yeah, I did not understand that at all. Like, he just really needed the levels on Tinker, and it's nice to stack the Ancients and everything, but I don't think it's worth it to stack early levels when you have a 1v1 matchup of Tinker and into Puck. Like, you just can't do that. They're pinging out. Now they've gone aggressive. They've taken the 2 towers. They figure, hey, they don't have too much of a lane presence early on here down at the bottom lane, and they're putting some pressure onto Fly now.
Fly, telekinesis. He's got help of Hani behind him. There's going to be the Leech team. They're going to chase this out. Here comes Strixie over as well. Puppey hit and Global Silence is used. Excalibur using March in the Machines. He's going to try to chase down Puppey while Kuro is targeted in the river. Puppey will end up dropping on the high ground while his brother on the low ground ends up dying. Dindy comes back in and gets a return kill on Excalibur, however. Trixie right there trying to go blow for blow, but Dindy deploying the coil only caught Trixie, not No Tail. 8 seconds on Axis, won't even need it. The slow from the boar showing its power right there, keeping him from escaping. That ends up being a 3-for-1, favoring Fnatic in quite a big way. So even though Dindy got the kill on Excalibur, the fact that he fed himself makes that at most a break even for him. And other than that, big win for Fnatic.
I mean, Dindy is not having. This is not his series. I'll just say that I've been even watching him just in the mid lane by himself, where he's bottle crowing and he's using his spells on nothing. Like it's just kind of out of his element this series. But it happens. Maybe he'll recuperate and be able to play at full potential. But yeah, making some questionable decisions, just going in there. He tried to get the coil onto the Beastmaster too. He had a little bit of a turn rate problem because I don't know if he was slowed by something, but couldn't get the coil. If he did get it onto Beastmaster as well, I think he lives there. But yeah, unfortunate. But there's still Na'Vi's still in a great position. I mean, getting 2 towers early on like that. The first one's not too important, but the second one's very important. So yeah, they're still in a great position.
The fact that they still have every tower standing too.
Right.
It's not just that they got the towers, but there was no return push coming out of Fnatic. We're 30 seconds short of 9 minutes in. How about we take a look at the gold graph, see where they stand efficiency-wise. Roughly 3,500, 4,000-ish gold lead for Fnatic, or excuse me, for Na'Vi. Fnatic trailing in experience as well.
Okay, I hope Twitch chat's probably angry at us or something, but Hani has Puppy's boots, his arcane boots.
Oh,
Puppy
wow.
like dropped them, and he has no more arcane boots.
Okay, I actually saw these and was wondering. I was going to make mention of it and didn't say anything about it.
Oh my god, that is so much gold.
Yeah, I actually saw this, and I was going to make mention because I just saw them out of like flicking through real quick, and was going to say that I thought it was weird he picked up 2 sets of boots, but I have seen players do that before. So yeah, never mind. That is Puppy set of boots, and that is freaking hilarious. So
okay, I talked about how Na'Vi were still fine. That's a huge freaking deal. Like what, a 1,500 gold down the drain, basically.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So yeah, that lead just minus 1,500 basically, and that's where you pretty much are at. That's really devastating. I didn't see like what is he dropping it for? Like it must have been a misclick because he has nothing to like drop it to bottle to get extra efficiency out of it. I just don't know. He must have misclicked when he was... Sometimes, okay, when you're clicking like downwards, right next to your inventory, you can accidentally drag an item. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I didn't see it.
Long smoke coming out of Na'Vi and tracking it as they moved all the way from their own jungle, now across past their own tier 1. Fnatic trying to spot something out, but not a whole lot for them to find. The Hawk is actually spotted, and they decide to go ahead and pop the smoke, bringing that down. So this is a big-time smoke, so they can try to push this tier 1. TPs are coming in. Excalibur is over in the woods. Now we're going to see them try to engage behind the trees. They're going to dive this hard. There's going to be Doom on the Fnatic and the Global Silence. Fnatic is going to end up dead for sure. There's the roar on the Havos behind that. What were they thinking? Diving a tier 1 behind the trees into a Tinker, a Global Silence, and a Doom. Dindy, tardy to the party, shows up with an Invis rune and is going to be able to do nothing but hang out, watch people walk around, maybe try to do something cheeky, but even that, not like, yeah, he's got to just leave.
He can't do anything. I mean, Tree is too tanky. They're also tanky. That's the beauty of this lineup, too. If they got out of the laning stage, which it's now happening, they're pretty much out of the laning stage, and their heroes' abilities are just better than Na'Vi's. Like, they have better ultimates. They're all freaking tanky. And Tinker, despite having that early, he gave first blood to Dendy, which was kind of crappy, and kind of due to the wonky lane setup that they had. But look at his farm now. He's almost got a 12-minute blink, too, on top of bots. He's just going to go out of control.
This is owed so much to the supports, by the way. We saw, I mean, I wouldn't say struggling, but he certainly was on a slower pace than he would have liked. But they've done such a great job of keeping the jungle camp stacked for him, and he has just been going to work. And that's what good support play gives you. It allows you to get heroes like Tinker online earlier, and then you run into this situation. But yeah, I feel like Na'Vi's decision-making is just all over the place. It is scattershot as can be, and I have no idea why they would try to dive a tier 1 like that, knowing they had so much to try to cope with. We're going to see Puppy now moving into the Roche pit. Does have up his buckler, and, you know, you can do this. It's not a surprise at all to see an Enigma largely soloing Roche. Now he's going to get some help, but here comes Fnatic. They're ready to fight. They're under cover of smoke.
Doom just came up. Doom's ult just came up.
Oh, Roche is about to drop, though. If they're going to go, they need to go soon. There's a roar on the Dindy, and we're going to see it go down nonetheless. Like it picks up the Aegis. Doom on the Dindy. He's dead for sure. Behind that, we see No-Tail being focused by Havos. Flies right there with him. Havos taking a lot of damage. Excalibur hits him with the laser. Here's Puppy throwing out the Malefice. Excalibur down to half health, meching through it now. Havos trying to tunnel vision him out. There are a couple of axes tossed, trying to body block him, but he's able to go ahead and run. No! Lost him uphill, and now the ult has worn off. Excalibur being healed up by the Leech Seed. He TPs away, and Havos Has to make a run for it. The Hawk is keeping, oh, if the Hawk gets on top of him, Tinker can come in and kill him off with a laser. Yes, there it is. Didn't even have to, just came to the illusion.
He's got no ult either. I don't know if they can get this, though. There's a TP coming back in. Yeah, they're not going to be able to do this. Do they have anything way to stop him? No, they don't. He blinks away to safety. This is just going to start to get out of control, man. I really feel that. Like, they didn't even have a silencer global ulti there.
Nope.
And he's now got it ready to go for now. His farm is pretty bad, though, to be honest. But nonetheless, Tinker's going out of control, and they have really good ultimates.
They're just resetting. They're anticipating Na'Vi's going to collapse here again. Look at this. It's already 4 in position. Fly. 15 seconds on overgrowth. Dindy decides to go ahead and go in, hits a 2-man waning rift. They are going to be able to track down Excalibur. This is a nice kill. If they can get it, and they can. They're all grouped up for it, though. There's the global silence. Don't know they have a lot to do. Yeah, not a whole lot he could do with it. I didn't see. Was that fresh off of cooldown? Hang on. Roar onto Dindy. Do they have the damage? They do. That is still pretty solid for them. You don't want to give up Excalibur if you can help it, but bringing down Dindy yet again, certainly worthwhile. And more importantly, guess what? This Tier 1 tower that has seen so much blood spilled in its shadow, still standing in good stead. Puppey is very, very low here. Fnatic very low. Everyone's low except Kuro. So if they decide to commit to this, it's a big risk. Overgrowth is now off of cooldown as well. They're continuing to skirt around the outside of the woods, stay in the trees. Fnatic coming out right past the sentry. So they saw him come out. They know he's there. They're using the Hawk to spot a bit. Fnatic,
Na'Vi has...
or Hani. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Na'Vi has no position to fight. Like, no. They need to get out right now.
Yep, here comes Excalibur. There's a Doom on the Kuro. They're going to rush in using that Scorched Earth. Havos really can't afford the turnaround. Dindy jaunting away, and it looks like Hani opting to go ahead and pull back. And there was actually a deny.
Oh, look at the Hawk. Oh, it actually gets stunned, but he's already made it in there. He's going to have to blink out to safety because he just didn't find the right position, right angle. Yep. But, yeah, it's coming into play, man. This Hawk plus Tinker bots and blink and all that jazz. And I don't think Na'Vi has any position to fight this, like fight them in the team fight. They need to split push, but again,
they can.
With levels up on a Treant, it's really difficult to do so unless you totally kill the tower. But as you said, look at bottom's being healed up right now.
Yep.
Mid tower's already been healed up close to full. It's getting. They tried. Like I think the big thing is, as you mentioned, they dove that tower bottom. They had no place in doing that, and it's really gotten bad ever since. I'm sure the graphs will reflect that.
I just don't know how you split push into this team. You've got global ult to begin with. From the silencer. They're going to have fantastic vision because of the Beastmaster. They're continuing to sell out on this, and looks like this is going to be a battlefield again. There's going to be a coil spent on just Trixie. 15 seconds short of his ultimate. He may buy back if they really want to commit to this tower. He does have buyback.
He doesn't have the gold, and he just bought.
Yeah, no, they're just going to try to trade.
Okay, this is really good for Na'Vi because they're finally going to get a tower, and they need it desperately. Again, like this Tinker plus Beastmaster thing is going to be such a huge issue, especially for like Kuroki. Even Dendy, once you get more items, like he usually goes like Dagon Earthblade, right? It's just gonna one-shot so many heroes, and not to mention the fact that Puppey's 1,500 gold in the hole, and he had to rebuy boots, and now he doesn't have a good mana pool because it's got to be the worst feeling if you're gonna go back for Arcanes. Like, God, I had these like 10 minutes ago, and I have to buy them again. And so yeah, he's gonna be pretty squishy too to this combo that Excalibur's gonna go for. And look, it's continuing the ancient stack to Fnatic. They're one of the best teams that do this.
They always had. You and I actually talked about that a bit offline, how back in the days when all these guys played Han, they were known for that. They were just known to be a team that if they were going to do anything right, they were going to be stacking camps.
They were really good about it. Yeah, they really are probably the best team about stacking and not just like, all right, we're going to stack this once. They do it throughout the entire game. It's very, very smart. It's a good way to get a ton of golden experience.
Tower denied by Puck up at top. Looks like everyone taking a breather. Fnatic's going to move back into the enemy jungle along with Havos. And at this point, by the way, back to what you were talking about with Puppey, I don't think we're going to see him get Arc Boots. If I had to guess, he's just going to go straight to Boots
He bought something. It might even be Treads. Yeah, it's Treads.
I was thinking Boots of Travel.
I think, yeah, well, I mean, Treads are good at this point in the game because he just needs the strength.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I like that build a lot on an Enigma. Go something like Soul Ring Mech, Boots of Travel.
Boots of Travel are always good. I'm sure Merlini would agree with you.
Yep.
Like, Boots of Travel are super good.
Bots, Midas, Soul Ring, 3 best items in Dota. No joke. Here we go. Fnatic smoking up, moving now into the jungle. They've got a target to the south. Here comes Tinker into the Hawk, and they're going to go ahead and engage on a Kuro. Not the highest priority kill.
I don't think they needed to doom that, but okay.
Yeah. A little bit of overkill. Here comes a little bit of help, and Puppey and Dindy trying to kill off that Hawk. Just look how much damage they're eating because they just stood in that wave of machines for just a second, though. Down at bottom, Trixie is continuing to farm up, looking for a Scepter. More than halfway done now. Just picked up his Ogre Club, already has the point booster too.
Yeah, and we're also seeing, again, the Necrobook build. And Necrobook's...
Whiff on the coil. Dimby tried to coil Excalibur and whiffed on it.
See, that's an instance where even if he does hit it, I don't know if they get the kill. Like, I still don't think they get the kill. And also Excalibur, with his build of the Dagon and the Ethblade, I'm pretty sure, he likes to go for this Ghost Scepter first. And it's especially good this game against Lycan, because now how the hell is Lycan going to kill you?
Yep.
And he's pretty much the one that's the most harmed.
On to Puppey, Global Silence deployed, Puppey's down, and Fnatic very nearly down. It looks like, yeah, they're just going to go ahead and try to corral Dindy. Easier said than done. He'll find an Invis rune, and that'll help him get away nonetheless. Puppey has struggled, to put it mildly. Not a single black hole used, despite all the action we've seen. Dagon out. This time on Excalibur. On the Tinker, we're keeping an eye on Dindy. Dagon, very often his item of choice as well. There's going to be a deny from Lycan onto the tower. And yeah, there's that Hawk. And here comes Excalibur going right in, showing off the Dagon for the first time. Blinks ahead, gets the laser kill onto Kuro. And Havost has to try to run, deploys the Necrobook. Excalibur right there with him. Has to use the ulti. Might not matter, though. As, nope, he is just going to go ahead and leave. Puppey, a little late. Fly, along with Trixie, are all there. Trixie doesn't have a whole lot of mana and a whole lot of fighting potential right now.
Oh, it's a Necro 2 also, so they can't see Fly. That's really crappy. Also, one thing to note, too, we talked a little bit about Tinker, but Excalibur seems to like the level 1 rearm for quite some time. He really wants to utilize a larger mana pool, despite not having the fastest rearm time. And yeah, it's definitely working out for him.
Fnatic has drawn this game back to nil. They were down as much as 5,000 gold at one point. In fact, a bit more than that. But bringing it back to dead even now, 20 minutes in. Experience-wise, they've actually opened up a bit of a lead for themselves. About 5,500, give or take. Looking ahead, we're reaching the conclusion of our first 20 minutes here at Ralph. Give me the scouting report on what we can expect for the next 20 minutes.
I think Fnatic's just going to do more of the same, but the thing is that they have no pressure. Like, I feel like their late game just completely trumps Na'Vi's. Like, completely. And their Tinker's getting massively farmed, so more of the same from Fnatic. They're going to go for these easy pickoffs with Hawk onto, like, Rubik or Nyx Assassin, and they're pretty much all squishy, except even Tovos, honestly, is not that tanky.
No.
And he has no BKB, so it's going to be more of the same for Fnatic. Na'Vi, I mean, you said that it's kind of hard. Oh, here we go. Havost gets roared out with the Hawk vision in range.
Mech is there. Do they have the damage? Global Silence used. Dindy can't do much, but Excalibur has to pull back. They went for it. They didn't have everyone in position. Probably wishing they did. Didn't. Oh, actually, Nyx Assassin manages to get a kill elsewhere, and there's a coil onto Excalibur up on the high ground. And Maleficus keeps him from boxing home. That's on cooldown. He's going to end up feeding.
Or?
No, or he'll just come out. Or, hang on.
He can't attack. Denny's going to miss his attacks.
Yeah, oh, wow. Dindy alive with 5 HP, but he's going to come back in. There's a unstoppable streak from Hani as he cleans up at least one. They end up going 2 for 1 as Rubik does drop. Dindy, after that last auto attack, 5 HP. What he survived with, like you said, he couldn't auto attack, couldn't go blow for blow because of the laser. Now they're going to come back in. Impale shot hits Hani. Above him, there's Fly. There's going to be the Midnight Pulse. Black Hole still not used, still didn't need to use it. That's actually a big kill. 808 gold from that. Goes to Nyx Assassin. Overgrowth. Buys Fly some time. Big Daddy. About 15 seconds until he has Roar. TP back in from Trixie this time. Trixie, 60 seconds out from his ulti, using those axes, trying to spam. They don't want to let this tower fall. Fly!
Oh, Fly taking a lot of damage. He might die.
Ends up dying to the Wolves. And a lot of damage from all of the minions that time. 10 seconds until Tinker's back up. Don't know that it's going to come fast enough for them to prevent this push on this tower. This is what Na'Vi has needed and what they've needed to do all game. They have to utilize the push potential every time they take a win. They get a tier 1. That leaves only 2 outer tier towers standing for Fnatic right now. Compare that to the 4 of Na'Vi.
Little bit of sloppy play coming out from Fnatic, and just a little like cockiness from Excalibur in his positioning. And Dendy is, or sorry, not Dendy, but Puppey's very, very conservative with this black hole. I thought I could have seen a couple different instances where he could have used it, but nonetheless, they still got the kills that they needed. But yeah, and now he's leveling up the Midnight Pulse. This is generally what I think most players do, just because the leveling up of Black Hole is so terrible. Like it's 10 seconds off the cooldown, which is okay, it's nice, but it actually increases the mana by 100 each time, which is a lot when you're constantly casting Midnight Pulse.
Oh yeah.
The Demonic Conversion is 170 mana every single time. The Malefice is 160, so it's just not a good scaling ultimate. Here comes a Hawk onto Roshan. Can Tinker do something here? He's the only one around, though, so he's going to have to, like, maybe try to steal this? I don't know if he can really steal it and get away. He needs his team.
Here we go. Puppey is up on the high ground. He soul rings. And, yeah, he's just going to go ahead and go for it. He actually just picks off Kuro by himself. Navos, in the meantime, does manage to pick up the Aegis. Excalibur's been spotted. Here comes Hani, tombs out Dindy, roar on the Havos below. Excalibur raining down death as best he can from the high ground. Dindy being pursued. Hani should be able to clean that up on his own. Funnick now converging with Puppey and Havos onto Tinker. They managed to bring him down. Hani did manage to clean up Puck and now has to make a run for it. And we'll be able to TP away. They end up going 2 for 1 there, but the Aegis still went the way of Na'Vi. So, break even at best. Honestly, I feel like that did kind of favor Na'Vi.
Yeah, I mean, Hani's playing really well this game, and I really like his item build. I think Blink is perfect this game. They have enough carry already. They don't really have to rely on him to stand in the front and just be tanky. He already is kind of that with mech drums, and now Blink Dagger it's going to ensure a really nice Doom target onto whoever he wants. So, and he's also just he's maneuvering perfectly in these fights, and just where he's casting spells, and he knows right after he casts them, he has to get away because they're going to go turn on him. So his movement this game has just been really, really impressive.
Funnick moving around under cover of Vendetta, using that gem to counter ward where he can. Avost trying to steal some Ancients. Couple of stacks on those bad boys. Not a whole lot more than that. Fly now there under Nature's Guise. And, yep, they're going to spot each other. Impale off, and he blinks away immediately. Avost decides to go ahead and clear on out. But, you know, coming back around to what you were talking about with Enigma's Black Hole, you know, it's not all that uncommon to not see a player deploy it, especially in a game like this where it is really, really close. It's like a condom or a gun. Rather have it, not need it, than need it and not have it. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's no reason to put it on cooldown if you can accomplish the job without it.
There you go.
And holding on to it means when he, you know, at this point, there's so much global potential coming out of Fnatic. He just has to make sure that when he pulls the trigger, it's always there. Otherwise, I mean, it's one of those abilities you have to fight around. You literally can't fight without it most of the time whenever you get down to pure 100% 5-on-5. Hang on.
God.
Ooh, Tinker. Canceled it out. Almost landed right on Puppey's face.
Well, that was smart because he saw Kuroki at the last second and he canceled it. He knew that I don't think he could blink away in time. It would have been close, but that's the beauty, as you're talking about, with the Black Hole being having to worry about it, but they don't really have to worry about it because they have the Silencer ulti the whole time.
Yep. He
has an Aghanim, by the way. I have to say his farm is actually not good this game, despite being in the safe lane against I mean, Nick was really not in it that much, but nonetheless, he's got his Aghanims, and he has the ultimate. Like, that's all you really need from this Silencer, and that's the beauty of Fnatic's lineup, is they have heroes with great abilities that don't necessarily need farm, but they also do farm because Tinker farms crazy. They're still stacking the Ancients constantly. Ethblade is now up at the 25-minute mark, along with the Dagon. Dagon 1, that is, yep. So he's going to be one-shotting Rubik. He's going to be one-shotting Nyx unless Nyx gets the Carapace. Even, okay, Denny's pretty tanky. It'd be close, but yeah, he's going to be one-shotting kids.
Nyx actually picked up a Yule Scepter, and I like that pickup a lot.
It's really good against Tinker.
Exactly.
It's really good
in particular against the Tinker.
I mean, Nyx in general is good against Tinker. I think that's why they picked him.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's actually a decent range too, and it gives you the extra movement speed, so you can close the gap, blink in, Yules him, he can't blink out. So, and you can also combo your Yules with your own stun. So it's a good pickup. I like it a lot.
Avost doing what he can. He's been flirting around the Radiant side Ancients for a while. Both teams just adhering to a gentleman's agreement to just farm for a while, I suppose. You know, we're still pretty early on. It feels like it's been a longer game than it has, just because there's been so much action. But for the most part, still very, very early. Going ahead to the late game, who do you prefer the most if we're talking 45 to 50 minutes in?
Oh, Fnatic. Definitely Fnatic. I mean, especially like at that time, you're probably going to get a refresher on Silencer. Doom's going to have whatever the hell he wants, maybe a BKB. BKB is probably really good this game. And then Tinker, like, it's Excalibur Tinker, and he's got a good start. I've seen him get stopped before, but it's when he's got a really bad start and he starts to feed, and they just kind of capitalize on that. But he's got a good start. They're like I said, they're always stacking, and you see it. He's got 222 last hits at 27 minutes. It's pretty damn good. So I definitely favor Fnatic.
Well, for now, all the action we saw, both teams taking a breather and continuing to just kind of hang out. If you're just tuning in, this is game number 2 of our leadoff best of 3 of the day. Fnatic taking on Na'Vi. Winner of this will advance to meet Empire in the second round of the upper bracket. Our second match of the day will be Rock's Kiss, or more accurately, former Rock's Kiss, taking on Evil Geniuses as they got past Cloud9 yesterday in our other first-round upper bracket match. A little push going on now at the Tier 2. Looks like they're trying to bait Fnatic into an overreaction. And, yep, there's the Yule shown off for the first time. Tinker toss in the air, has a lot of help behind him and just blowing Puppey up. And they're very calmly coming out on this now. Above that, we actually see the Doom in a fight raging up to top. Fnatic ends up dropping. Hani's going to end up dying behind that. And the rest of Fnatic did not want to overcommit. Excalibur's quite low. He'll be caught with a coil and now brought down after trying to use the
Where's the silence from Trixie?
Yeah.
I don't know why he's not using it. I've seen this green diamond up on him, and now he's going to die without even using it, possibly.
Yep.
Roar, was that stolen by Kuroki, I believe?
I think it's so. I think so. Yeah,
so
it
he
was.
has it.
Absolutely was.
This is why was he not using the ultimate? Maybe he thought they were dead regardless. There is a lot, even if you ult, I guess there is a lot of auto attack damage from all the heroes once the howl is out, but wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, me either. It seemed like
and
Fnatic
Aegis is still on Havost.
Yeah, it should be reclaimed soon, though, I think.
I wasn't looking.
Yeah, it's going to be going away very soon. But yeah, nonetheless, this is... It seemed like Fnatic was even reacting well. Like, they didn't overcommit for the most part. Yes, you saw a little over-aggressiveness perhaps out of the Doom. And they should be able to save rack. And I don't know, they already used their glyph. Yeah, they're at least going to lose range racks. Dindy comes in, hits the Waning Rift on No-Tail. Yeah, never mind. They may just end up lose both of these. Let's see. Havost's going to use his ult. Still had... No, the Aegis actually expired amidst all of this. And now there's the Roar.
There's
stolen
the
by
Roar.
Kuro. Used on No-Tail. There's that silence. No-Tail doesn't have his available for another 15 seconds, so all he can do is back up. The pipe used on Puppey. He had that pipe up quite a while ago. And as much burst as Excalibur has, still can't bring down Havost, who did finish a heart and has tanked up very, very thoroughly.
Blink out from Nyx. He's going to be fine. A smoke, actually, to help other members of Na'Vi out. Puppey might not be so safe. There comes the blink from Excalibur. Puppey, he cast the mech. He should be okay for the time being. They only barely missed the impale. If they hit him, I'm pretty sure they kill him with that.
Yep.
But nonetheless, they get out unscathed, and they get 2 racks. This is why when you say the Na'Vi factor in any game, like,
yep.
I just can't believe that. Also, not to mention, they use the tree and ult there, the overgrowth, but then they actually use the silence right on top of it, like at the same exact time. But they can't really cast spells when they're overgrowth like that. They maybe can, but it wouldn't be effective. You could, if you just watch the positioning, they weren't going to cast anything, and they just basically whiffed the ultimate, and he bought back. So
yep.
I don't know about that. I feel like Trixie should have ulted in that fight, that tier 2, maybe save Excalibur there, maybe save another one. He also died himself. The Roar stolen by Kuroki actually played a huge role in the beginning of that fight by those racks by actually using it on Beastmaster, the irony. Wow, I'm speechless. I cannot believe Na'Vi just kind of took control of this game now.
A lot of it, I feel like, does come down to the fact that Trixie held on to his ult so long. Whenever they were trying to defend the tier 2. Like you said, it felt like there was going to be a big fight breakout, and it just never kind of did. Up at top, looks like Dindy's got eyes on Excalibur, used the Hex, and died immediately. All right.
Yep.
There you go. Biting off a bit more than he could chew. Eyes a bit bigger than his stomach. Ends up down for 50 seconds because of it. There's the Roar once again used by Kuro. He's managed to steal living armor this time, and Fly has to use overgrowth. He's got a lot of help above ground. There's going to be the Roar. Havost is just so tanky, but doomed out. They have the damage. They do. He's down for 70 seconds. Kuro has to TP away, barely able to make it away. Now the counter push is on. Excalibur leading the way along with Hani. Both have played fairly well this game. Hani in particular has had a great game. Has gone with the aura approach to his build, mech, drums, etc. And now pecking away at the tier 2 in mid. Here's Puppey using that Midnight Pulse. After the buff, it does so much damage, and it's so big too.
Yeah.
And Excalibur, there's that global silence. Here we go. They want to engage. Hani does not have Doom at the ready. Puppey still has Black Hole. Doesn't have the mana, though, and cannot use it. Behind that, we see Fnatic continuing to spread out. There's going to be a bit of damage done to Puppey and Excalibur. Now if they can track down Tinker, hit with the Impale, and perfectly chained together. They lose the 2.
There's a blink scythe. There's a blink hex on the Dendy. If he can find Trixie and spot him, he couldn't really find him. He's going up, walking up into fog there. So again, I feel like these silences are wasted. Like they were running away. They were out of harm's way at the time. They couldn't really catch them anymore. And he still, I just don't think that these silences are being used appropriately. I really don't. I mean, it did burn a little bit of mana, but if you're using silences with your items just to burn mana, like that's not worth it. Right.
Well, it's one of those things where, you know, the the global silence is just such a tricky ability to use right. Like if you deploy it too early, they can just kite it out. If you go with it too late, then obviously the fight's usually over for one reason or another. And Trixie's had some good ones, but it seems like such an easy ability. Hit R, everything can't cast for a while.
I think it is easy though. That's the thing. Like especially in the bottom.
But I've seen teams do this so much. I've seen so many good teams struggle with the timing on it.
Well, what happened is maybe there was miscommunication between Hani and the rest of the team because he blinked in, went in, and doomed. And normally what you do is you have someone ready, you have Beast. It would actually be nice if Beastmaster could get a blink this game, but he's got no farm. Anyway, Roshan, there comes that dire factor coming into play. This is the third, I believe. I want to say Cheese is up on someone, but
it's on Dindy.
Yeah. So what you do is you blink in with Doom, you doom somebody, you global silence. What the hell can Na'Vi do? They literally are useless. Not to mention if Excalibur's in the midst, he can just use all his spells and burst people down too. But he doomed, and then he got maybe a kill, and then nothing else happened. And then Na'Vi just trumped him. So, yeah, I actually really think that they could just be using this right after a blink doom, and then just fight that way. He's almost got his refresher, I believe. Does he have the perseverance on the courier? No. So he's actually a little bit away from that refresher. But yeah, Na'Vi is playing this very, very well. You got to give him a lot of credit.
Oh yeah. Game not over, though.
Especially Puppy. Look, now he's at a BKB. He has recovered nicely despite the really crappy Arcane Boot steal.
Yep. Yep, has his mech, his pipe. I would say this is almost prototypical Enigma. Outside of, I still wish he had saved for bots. But anyway, because now if he had bots now, he could go straight up for a blink and be done. Basically be 6 slotted.
I think treads are actually nice, though. Every single time I see him get comboed by Tinker, he's just not getting bursted down fast enough.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because Tinker's actually his farm is kind of slowed down a bit, despite the cons. Again, stacks are still coming out, but you would expect him to see really Dagon 5. Okay, he actually almost has Dagon 5 because he got 3K gold.
Taking a look at the performance across the game, it's been a great game for Hani. We've talked about that on and off. 8, 4, and 5. He's been involved in 13 of the 19 kills Fnatic has piled up. Up and down a bit for everyone below that, though. The two mids, especially Dindy, battling back a 7, 6, and 2 record right now. 6 and 7 on Excalibur, so certainly not the kind of game we're accustomed to seeing out of him. Usually he's on the right side of 500. 3 and 2 and a grab bag after that. 3 and 2 on the Knicks. But yeah, it's basically just been it feels like a lot of haymakers. It's been just a classic throwdown. Like if you ever go to tough man fights and at rural areas, it's kind of how it's felt. Just a lot of dudes just throwing from the hip every single time and punching themselves out. But so far, it has been Na'Vi who has scored the most points and looking to bring down yet another tower. Nice jab to the nose as Savos cleans out the last vestiges of map control with that last tower.
Yeah, and I think a big unsung hero too for Na'Vi is Fnatic. I haven't really been watching him per se too much this game, but I have been catching him with these nice impales and just maneuvering himself around in team fights perfectly. He's got a Yules now, which we talked about to great length. It's so perfect this game. And also, yeah, I just can't stress enough how well Puppy has recovered. Now has a BKB, and also on top of that, 1,700 gold. So he is finding farm, man. And they've taken really control of the entire side of the map of Fnatic. They're in their woods now. Where is Fnatic really farming? This is very impressive stuff.
Yep. Not a single person, well, except for you, Avos, because of course you're always out of position. Hang on, Doom. On to Fnatic.
Was it stolen? Oh, no, Scorched Earth. He got nice play.
There's the Hex. The Doom still might be enough to bring him down when all is said and done. And nope, denied. And wow, he actually smoked there. Now there's going to be a lift onto Hani. Throws him back up to the high ground. The rest of them are charging out. Excalibur manages to TP away as the reaction was coming from Na'Vi from the east.
Yeah, he smoked quickly so he could pick up the gem because he knew that Nyx had it. So nice play by Karuk. He tried to get the Doom, but very well played by Hani. He used the Scorched Earth right after because he knew that it could. You do not want to give Doom up. It's the best ultimate in the game. So good plays on both sides, honestly.
20-16. Again, an absolute barn burner. Definitely in favor of Na'Vi, at least as of right now. But Fnatic with a team that the later the game goes, in theory, the better they should get. It's hard to believe it's only been 37 minutes right now. It feels like we're in 47, 57-minute territory. Instead,
yeah, it does.
Still very early, and a lot of developing that can go on with this Na'Vi or with this Fnatic squad. Something worth mentioning, we're at 37 minutes, have yet to see a single black hole out of Puppy. Not one.
Yeah, that's crazy. I really think that the dire advantage with regard to Roshan is a huge factor in this game. They've got 3 pretty much uncontested. They also have very, very good heroes to do so quickly with Lycan and the Eidolons. I think that's huge because I'm thinking on paper, like especially with when it started the momentum started to ball out of control for Fnatic. I'm like, oh god, how is Na'Vi going to get back into this? I still feel like their late game is just not as good as like the global silence, the Doom, the Tinker with insane farm. You know, Treant is kind of falls off, but Beastmaster's still always really good.
Right.
But the Roshans have really made a big deal. Just not, if not even just for the Aegis, but the extra golden experience that you get for free. So yeah, I really feel like Roshan has played a huge role in this game for Na'Vi.
Especially at this stage, now that they're into 3+ Roshans, which means there'll be a cheese every time.
Yep.
And cheese does not expire. They can hang on to that bad boy as long as they want.
Dendy's still got his cheese.
Oh, yeah. And the Aegis will be reclaimed in just short of 60 seconds. Roche should be back up a few minutes afterwards, obviously. That Dagon beginning to build out, though, for Excalibur. Hell, build out. I thought it was level 4. It's level 5. So he's bursting for an immense amount of damage right now. It's just the question of, can the rest of Fnatic give him the room to operate? Trixie has to be on point with his ults coming up. He's very, very close to his refresher. Very, very close. And that's going to be a challenge for Na'Vi to deal with. As when the refresher comes out, how big of a difference maker you think that'll be?
I think it's pretty huge, honestly. Like, what is it? Like 12 seconds or something?
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's 14. Scepter duration 7, so it's 14 seconds. It's really big. The thing is that he cannot be frugal with it. Like, he has got to just cast it. Because it's better to be safe than sorry, I really feel, in this instance. If you're late on your ultimate, it makes it completely useless. If you're way too early, well, at least they back off a little bit, and then you can kind of recuperate. But it's better to be early, I think, than late.
Well, for now, Fnatic continues to stay hemmed up. They have very rarely left the confines of their own Tier 3, and for good reason. Na'Vi has complete and utter map, not control, map domination. And moving out, even if they smoke out as 5, it's so chancy just because of how good Na'Vi is at being able to shut them down if they have any kind of an initiation advantage. Boots of Travel picked up on Lycan. He's getting very close to 6-slot territory.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, the Tinker, eventually he'll want to sell that bottle. And what do you think would be the right item pickup after that? Hex?
I think he, honestly, in retrospect, now you think maybe I should have gone for the Hex instead of this build, but obviously you never know what's going to happen to a game, and he seems to, execute the Dagon very, very well, specifically on for him on Tinker. So I don't really question him going that, but yeah, you need a Hex this game now for sure. Like you need to catch also Puck, who's also had a fantastic rebound game. Like he was not doing well at all, despite getting first blood, but now he's got a sheep at a very timely rate. He's got 5,200 gold now, so but you need to shut him down too in fights. Like he's becoming a big problem.
At what point do you think the word go is going to be a part of the equation for Na'Vi? Because as of right now, it's been probably 8-10 minutes since we've seen any real action or any real attempt to push from Na'Vi. I mean, they can't just sit here forever.
It's the next Roche. They're waiting for the next Roche. That's better safe than sorry, which is funny because we've seen them push at times where they shouldn't have pushed at all. But now they decided, okay, we're going to play like the Eastern teams and just take it slow and wait and wait. And it's really the smarter approach. So, so they're going to wait for that.
Well, no such patience from Fnatic. If they can get a catch here, Dindy up there. Whoa, hello. Greetings and salutations, Dindy. Blasted in the face and hit with about as much burst as you're ever going to see. He's down now for 62 seconds. He does have buyback if he wants to expend it. Doubt he will. Fnatic now moving ahead. Puppy hit with the leech seed and finally shoving out. And yeah, Fly's right there with Puppy. And he's got his whole team.
They can just go. They can overgrowth and global silence.
Oh,
but they were
wow.
too slow with it. Too slow with it.
There's the Rory. Did manage to get it off. Now Puppy, there's the global silence and the Doom on the Puppy. Havos is focus firing Trixie. Does not have the refresher up, believe it or not. Ends up dying on the back of that. There's a buyback onto Dindy and Puppy both. Boots of Travel were picked up behind that, up on the high ground now.
Oh, nice.
There's that Yules tossing Hani into the air, and down he goes. So it forced 2 buybacks, but they're going to have to buy back themselves if they even can. Doom can. The Silencer can.
But he has no ulti. He has no ulti, and he doesn't have enough. If he bought back, he would have no money for a refresher.
Yeah, the refresher.
This could be an easy another set of racks, and big cooldowns are down. I do not know why Trixie's being so conservative with his ult. I really don't. Like, they were going into uphill, so they couldn't really see unless they had a Hawk, but he just needs to cast it.
There it is. Buyback on the Silencer. They're going to try to defend this out. Here comes Excalibur teleporting in, doing what damage he can. Has to blink away, though. And down goes the tier 3. Rax is down, flies there, hits a leech. There's going to be a blow up onto Fnatic, but he was not the problem. There's a 3-man coil on the Hex Shoes on Excalibur. Hani's there to mech through them. Puppey and Havost forced to pull back. They did manage to get 1 Rax, but Puppey's down. He bought back, so that was a die back from him. Havost picks up a BKB and is now hoofing it away. Behind that, Dindy is still alive. Still didn't use his cheese, by the way. That's how quickly he died before.
Maybe he can pass it off to Havost really quick?
Yep.
No.
Oh, Havost. Down, and that's a gem down, and Dindy has to just make a run for it. Excalibur is right on his tail. Not about to give up. That burst is so intense.
Yeah.
And the buybacks are lacking heavily right now for Na'Vi. Problem is, I don't know that Fnatic has the ability to even push out. They have too much to deal with back at home. Bottom lane vacant, top lane. Tier 3's being banged away by creeps in mid. They lost the range racks that time, so bit of a loss for Na'Vi, especially considering the 2 buybacks, but Fnatic not going to be able to capitalize too much on it.
The blink just came out from Beastmaster. I talked about that. I think it's actually going to help a lot to just really catch them before they cast their abilities, because honestly, Trixie's not getting it done. Like, he needs to ult faster. If they just overgrowth Enigma right there towards the mid, and then overgrowth ulti, just spend it. Just be safe. But what happened was Lycan came in, ulted, like, as they knew they were actually going to commit onto Enigma. So he ulted, came in. If the silence comes out, he doesn't ult, Enigma dies, and they get out there scot-free, and then maybe look to fight once Refresher's up for Silencer. But yeah, so this blink is really going to help out for Beastmaster. And I was going to say one more thing. Totally slipped my mind. Maybe I'll remember.
Is that the Refresher done? That's a Perseverance done on Trixie now.
Hey, Enigma's got your bots now. He bought him.
Yep.
And his treads are in
he actually bought back and bought him and teleported in off of him.
Oh, okay.
That's how Puppey got back to the fight before.
Ooh, this is huge for Fnatic. This Roshan here.
Yep. Trixie is doing work. He is beginning to feel a little bit more like a carried core. And here comes Puppey, though. He's got Black Hole, has not used it yet. Is he going to go for it? No, there's the Roar. No-Tail sniffed it out. He actually stole Roar, but they did manage to get the Aegis onto the Tinker. Let's see if they just want to exit. Yep, Trixie is going to be picked off. Now, this is going to be...
He bought back,
yep,
too,
a
didn't
buyback. Yep, that was, I wouldn't call it a dieback, but he bought back before, which means he's going to be down for the count.
If they just run mid, I think this is an easy melee Rex. Yep. Maybe even more. That is really bad. I mean, it was great that they didn't give him the Aegis, because he would have died twice. He would have just completely wasted it. Who has the Aegis? It's the Tinker.
Yep, Tink.
Honestly, at this point, I don't know if he has time to get to the secret shop, but he should just get a Shiva's. Like, they need some kind of more counter push. Oh, it's a BKB. That's smart, too. But, yeah, with Trixie dead, that's going to be racked, I feel.
Well, they still got top lane. Excalibur comes out. Can't even blow. I mean, as much burst as he has, he still can only bring Havost down by about 1/4 to 1/3.
Yeah.
And they're just going to rotate up now. So mid-Rax ends up being cleaned up. 45 minutes in. This could be it. No, they're going to come back in and try to re-engage. Havost eats a lot of damage. Hani's there. No, he never got Doom. And finally, a Black Hole that catches Tinker and Tree both. Fly gets off the Overgrowth. Excalibur's still up, does still have the Aegis, but he has Sans mana.
Overgrowth was stolen. Overgrowth was stolen, too.
Excalibur ends up losing his Aegis. Hani never got off Doom. Never got it off. And finally, back up off the Aegis. Let's see if they can catch up. There's going to be a little bit of damage done. Phonic Vendetta's away from that. BKB was used by Excalibur. Goes right. Oh, Havost! Walking between the raindrops, makes it away by the skin of his teeth. And they managed to clean up another Rax. They do get a little damage done to the tier 3. That'll be healed up, of course, by the Treant Protector. But still, that path uphill for Fnatic gets much steeper now. Finally, though, the Refresher is out on Trixie. If they're going to have any hope, any prayer of being able to turn this around, he had better be on point from this point on.
He just cannot be conservative. I can't say much more than that. Like, they just have to go in, use it, and just fight. Just use your abilities. Don't be scared to do so. There's still a chance, as we mentioned, Tree, he kind of falls off in the late game, but one of the best things about him is you can't, like, just dink at the towers and then come back and do it some more.
No chip damage.
Chip, yeah, there you go. So he's really good in that sense. He's also got a blink for good initiation. Rubik did steal Overgrowth, and he has a blink, so he can actually use that to great effect. I actually think it's going to play a big role in the next team fight. We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah. Oh, God, he just got blown up by Excalibur. They had vision with not only the Hawk, but also a ward there. Yeah, just got blown to pieces. So forget what I said about the Overgrowth.
He actually cheeses that time. Global Silence was used. He still has it on refresh. Excalibur rearms and is going to have to try to guess right here. He actually refreshed just to get Dindy, and they managed to bring him down because of it. They get the gem. Was that worth 2 silences, you think?
I think so. I mean, he doesn't have buyback. I don't know if they knew that going into it. But if he had buyback, I would say no, because he could just buy back and they could just go fight and run down without any silences. Kind of a risky play, but it'll end up being okay.
Well, one way or the other, it's bound to extend this game.
Yeah.
And we're continuing to see Excalibur do what he does. He was struggling. Last time we checked in with him, he was sitting at something like 6 and 7. He's now 13 and 7, so hasn't died again, or at least when he did die, he had the Aegis. I will feed more for 2 treasures. But yeah, Excalibur slowed down a bit in the mid game, but really now beginning to come into his own. BKB waiting back for him. Yep, he's going to go ahead and swap the bottle out. And he is basically 6-slotted. You think he'll end up selling that Soul Ring at some point?
Yeah, very last. I mean, Soul Ring is so core. It almost, it's so good at every stage of the game for Tinker. Right. But I honestly think Shivas would be really, really good for the team. I mean, Hex is so good too. But the Shivas, the negative attack speed going through BKB. Do they even have BKB? Yeah, they have BKB on Lycan. And just being able to spam out these waves, like that's going to be the issue as we keep approaching the later and later stages of the game. It's just getting these lanes spammed out as quickly as possible, and Cheapest helps in that regard. So, yeah, I think he'll. I don't know. Hex is always the safest choice, but I think Cheapest would be good.
Well, here comes Na'Vi under cover of smoke, looking for a target. They're actually going to be able to use No Tail. That's going to be a pick worth having. He's down. Does he have buyback?
Nope.
He does not.
Not even close.
Yep. And Rubik actually got rid of, believe it or not, Overgrowth and stole Hawk. All right. So.
Wait. Well, he died, though. So did he get Overgrowth again?
No. He stole Called Wild.
Okay.
So I'm saying he had, oh, yeah. So, okay. Never mind. You're right. I was thinking it was weird that he had Overgrowth and would still Call the Wild. But you are correct. It was gone already.
That would be weird.
It was gone already.
But here we go. Yeah, Beastmaster dead from the 25. It's actually kind of a big deal, too, because that roar is very effective.
Funnick.
Big whip.
Misses with that. There's going to be a big initiation
this
coming out.
It.
Overgrowth is there. Oh, the black hole! Black hole stutter stepped. And now the buyback coming out of Havos, who ended up dropping on the back of that. They will be able to track down Fly when all is said and done. But Fnatic is still holding their ground. Dendi looking for a way in. Havos bought back, came back. Thanks to the boots of travel. That's going to be a buyback with nothing to show for it. Trixie goes ahead and refreshes in case he ends up needing the silence, but Na'Vi has to pull back and take a deep breath. I didn't see exactly what stopped Puppey. Did you? I saw him stutter step the black hole. I just didn't see what exactly caused him to stutter step it.
No, I was watching to see maybe Trixie instantly refreshed and ultied again, but that wasn't the case. His refresh was actually on cooldown for like another 10 seconds, so... Yeah, I was looking at a little bit something else, and I don't want to call him out.
And Roar wasn't used by Big Daddy.
Yeah, I don't want to call him out if he did mess up because I don't like doing that.
Yep.
So I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that something happened. But it could happen. Like sometimes the cast range is so weird on Black Hole. Like you have to click right in front of you that sometimes if you don't anticipate it, like you can actually second guess yourself.
Yep, and try to cancel it and not cancel it, but cancel it too late.
It happens sometimes. But again, I don't know for sure.
A beautiful one if he'd have hit it. It would have caught 3, I think. And unfortunately, the play not there. And to tell you the truth, I don't know how much it would have mattered because if it had gone off and had caught a few, I'm pretty sure Silencer would have been safe from it. So Trixie probably would have been able to refresh and silence anyway.
It had like 5 more seconds on it or something. So it actually would have been a good ult.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, the refresh
I thought it was off CD.
Yeah, it was very, very close to being just right off CD. But nonetheless, as you mentioned, it's going to drag it out a little bit more. And Roshan again, this would be the 5th one, I think?
Number 5.
Yeah, and it's not up yet, but they're camping around here. They want to get it as fast as possible. And they will because they have so much damage and Howl and all that jazz. But, yeah, kind of slower pace now at this point.
Well, it's good. You think Fnatic's going to be willing to commit 5 out to try and stop it?
I think they have to. I think Aegis is going to play. I think Aegis and Cheese are going to play too big of a role, especially when you have both. Like when you have 4 racks down. Like when you have Aegis and Cheese like that, you can just throw yourself at the team and just let them use their abilities and then come back up and then, in the meantime, their tier 4s are getting pushed in and things like that. So, yeah, I don't think you can afford to really give them Roche. So what they need to do is just constantly what they're doing, push out lanes as fast as possible. Because you can't really contest Roche when your tier 4s are getting hit. I mean, you can, but then you have the risk of getting thrown. So,
if Fnatic manages to win this, it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, Na'Vi still has 3 outer tier towers up, man. They still have tier 1 up. They have the tier 1 in bottom lane standing, and they don't have a Treant Protector. It's not like that thing has been healed to hell and gone.
Right.
And they have just controlled this map so well, especially against heroes like a Tinker. And Yeah, I think Na'Vi has just played this beautifully, but it's still going to come down to the line. There's going to be a roar that catches Havos. They're going to move in, try to doom him, and try to finish him off. Silence deployed. Don't know if he has it on refresh yet or not. It's going to be close. Havos could be in trouble. Here we go. They're going to come in, and yep, they did refresh it. There's another Silence Puppy. Has Black Hole at the ready. And we'll go ahead and use it. Manages to catch 3, but there's no follow-up. Dindy's going to come in and do what he can. Finally, an impale from behind by Fnatic. Dindy pecking away at No Tail. Hani has to run, but Fly and Trixie just going to work, bringing 1 down, make it 2. Fnatic used up, but brought down to his demise. 100 seconds, Havos is down. They only lost 1. Dindy has to blink high ground and try to clear out. Roche has spawned amidst all of it on top of everything else. That's a gigantic win. Puppy buys back, but he doesn't have a refresher and he doesn't have Black Hole.
They should still contest this. Fly's taking a lot of damage. The Hex coming in from Dendy. He will blink out. They're just trying to delay the inevitable Roshan that is there. They have to fight
Here we
this.
go. Oh, Hani's very low. Got hit with a mana burn and an impale. Fly's eating a lot of damage here. And now they're going to come back in. Trixie uses the cheese and gets himself back up and in shape. But behind that, Dindy trying to engage onto Excalibur. They got Fly. Here's Hani, though, using that Shiva's gem on the ground. Excalibur low on mana.
His BKB is in stash. He doesn't have it. He's going to die here.
He swapped it out for the bottle. He has to make a run for it. He had it in his inventory at one point. Hani's there trying to help him out, but Excalibur's going to take the big biff and be sent packing. Now Hani's going to end up dropping behind all of this. Kuro's right there with the lift. No, he doesn't have mana. Not that they need it.
120 seconds down for Excalibur. His BKB was in his stash.
Why?
I don't know what he was thinking with that.
It was in his inventory. He swapped it at one point. 100%.
I don't know. I'm at a loss for words with that one. Havos is going to be up in 20 seconds. He's got bots to his name. He can even buy another item if he really wants to, but I don't think he needs to. With Tinker being down, with Doom being down, does Doom have buyback? Let me check the buyback status really quickly.
No, he does. He does.
He does, but really, Tinker's your main man, and you don't have double. You don't even have one.
Oh, No Tail. That is a big kill, and now they're going to come back out, try to turn this around. Puppy still 60 seconds from Black Hole. Just hanging around, has his BKB ready, has the pipe and the mech ready. Trixie going to BKB and try to beat them back. There's the pipe deployed. Now he's going to tunnel vision on Trixie. Havos chasing him down, sending him scrambling for the well. There's a silence, but it's irrelevant as he bits it.
Game.
And that's going to be it. GG call. A 55-minute classic. Back and forth all over the place. Big plays, some mistakes on both sides. But the end result is Na'Vi closes it out and forces a Game 3.
I mean, what a player I think Puppy is. Honestly, like,
what a player.
Yeah, like I feel like any other person would just get so demoralized after like it's actually a humongous freaking deal losing your boots like that. But he persevered and he still had so much freaking farm. Look at his last hits.
Oh yeah,
300. He had more last hits than Trixie.
That's kind of ridiculous, actually.
He actually had more last hits than Puck as well. So, yeah, I would say MVP for Puppy for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And he just played fantastically. And
the fantasy ranking would agree with you.
Yeah, I just cannot believe, oh, wow, that's pretty crazy. I don't even know how that works, to be honest. But anyway.
Me either. It's a number. They go high to low.
Yeah, there you go. But I think this is actually kind of scary for their teams watching and Fnatic coming into the third game. Like, how the hell could we possibly lose this game? My God, what happened? But I really feel, and I don't like, singling players out, but I don't think that Trixie stepped into the plate. I really don't.
Yeah.
He had a free farming lane. He had one of the better heroes in this kind of lineup, and honestly, in this meta game, Silencer has been pretty devastating, especially when you get the space. The games where we see Silencer not do well is when he gets shut down early with some kind of aggressive tri-lane, but that wasn't the case here. He had free farm, and he just was not on point with his ultis. They came at the wrong time, too late sometimes, too early sometimes, but nonetheless, the bottom line is it just was not effective.
Seems like it's tricky, man. And, again, on paper, just hitting R and, a global silence seems simple, but we see teams all the time have games like this where too early, too late, just right. Want the Goldilocks ultimate if you can get it. Either way, once again, Na'Vi battles back and knots this series up 1 apiece. We're looking ahead now to Game 3. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. On my side, once again, Trout, been casting with me all throughout the D2L Western Challenge. We've got many days ahead of the playoffs of our Western Challenge to look forward to. We're live here, if you're just tuning in, on the at the command center, at the mothership of HyperX, this great LAN facility they built out as part of their dedication to esports. It's been a great series so far, man.
Oh, man, yeah.
And can't wait to see the conclusion. In fact, I'm sure the teams are as anxious as we are. So how about we go ahead and get the lobby up and get things moving. Once again, this is the HyperX D2L Western Challenge. AC and Tralf, find us both on Twitter. I'm at AC, at AYESEE. He's at TralfDota, TRALFDOTA. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Game 3, the conclusion of this first best of 3 of the day. Stick with us.